Konami needs to stop making these powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Link monsters were released in the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG in July of 2017. It's been over 8 years, and since then, links have proven to be the best summoning mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not only are they ridiculously generic as far as summoning them out goes, but they also usually have incredibly strong effects. I mean, just look at the ban list. There are 19 banned Link monsters ranging from Christian Halka-Fibrax to Link Karibo to Guardragon Elpy, and every other extra deck mechanic has a combined 21 banned monsters. Now this could be because of power creep. I mean, Link monsters are the newest summoning mechanic, but it's been 8 years and Link monsters just keep getting better and better. And I get that better is subjective, because a card like Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite, which is just incredibly powerful, enabled so many degenerate combos and allowed decks to do things they wouldn't normally be able to do, and it was banned for that reason. And then on the other hand, you have a card like SP Little Knights, which isn't going to be enabling any combos, it's more so going to be the end goal for a lot of these combos. At one point or another, they try and establish SP Little Knights, whether on your turn or on the opponent's turn. And SP is almost a year old, and arguably the best card in the game today, but there's also no indication that it'll actually get banned in Yu-Gi-Oh! But the reason why Electromite is banned is because it gives so many decks the ability to access so many powerful combos that it wouldn't have access to consistently without it. And Electromite isn't the only one. There are so many other banned Link monsters that are banned because of what they get you from the deck. Cards like Isolde, which can get you any warrior from the deck. Guardragon Elpy gets you any dragon monster, and Verte Anaconda can turn any 2 monsters into a powerful boss monster, assuming you play the right fusion cards. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, but there are so many Link monsters that are just inherently flawed in terms of their card design. For example, Summon Sorceress Priorata was insane and definitely deserved to be banned and could never come back. Then you have a card like Linkcross, which is insanely powerful as well at generating tokens for other extra deck plays. That card could not come back, at least in the near future. But in my opinion, the card that Konami keeps making that needs to stop being made is easily the generic Link 1 monster. You thought I was going to spend the entire video talking about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was better before Links. Nope, I love the Link mechanic. I think it's a great mechanic, but it's just so generic and the effects are so powerful that I think there needs to be a small change. And I think that change needs to happen when it comes to Link 1 monsters alone. And honestly, if they just stopped printing powerful effects on Link 1 monsters or made the summoning requirements for these Link 1 monsters a lot more restrictive, then I think the problem could be solved. But the inspiration for this video is the new Spirit with Eyes of Blue, a new generic Link 1 monster being released in the Blue Eye structure deck in the OCG in September, which means we should be getting it maybe in the new year. Is the card broken by any means? Absolutely not. It's a very straightforward effect where on summon it adds the deck's field spell, it also locks you into dragons, and then you can tribute itself to summon a Blue Eyes monster from your hand, which is pretty cool, but again, not broken by any means. So why does this seemingly innocent card inspire a whole video? Well, it's because the card itself requires either a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster monster to summon it out. It is incredibly generic for that reason, and there are hundreds of level 4 or lower dragons and spellcasters in the game today. At the best case, it enables a full Blue Eyes combo, which is pretty cool because Blue Eyes isn't really doing anything in the game today, but at worst case, it's being used to just get a card into the graveyard for you to activate its effects, because as we all know, the graveyard is basically like a second hand. I just wish that it was either a Link 2 or higher monster, or wasn't as generic as it actually is. Because when you look at the 19 banned Link monsters and 3 limited Link monsters, 9 of those cards are Link 1s, more than any other Link rating. And that makes so much sense because all these cards enable so many decks to do just really unfun and degenerate things. And I could spend my time talking about every single one of these cards, but I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on the newest banned Link monster being Link Karibo because it's so generic and its effect isn't as good as a lot of the other ones, but it still goes to show that a Link 1 monster can be absolutely broken in the right circumstances. Link Karibo's effect is fine, it definitely had an advantage especially in the current format, but the reason why it was so good is because it required any level 1 monster to make this card. And when you look at the format today, the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is easily going to be Snake Eyes, and all the little Snake Eyes monsters are level 1s. And when you pair Link Karibo with a copy of Snake Eye Poplar, it just allows you to keep getting extra bodies available to use your Snake Eyes effects with. It's because of cards like Link Karibo where you can easily get monsters into the graveyard that one card combos really exist. If you can get a card into the graveyard, it usually has a secondary effect once it hits the graveyard for you to activate. And sure, there are a lot of one-card combos that don't require any link monsters, but having a link monster makes the job so much easier. Here's another example for you, Striker Dragon. This card is easily made with any level 4 or lower dragon monster, and the fact that Striker Dragon exists allows Black Metal Dragon to become a one-card combo and loop the effects of it over and over again because it's not once per turn. Striker Dragon's effect to add the Boot Sector launch field spell is obviously really strong, but what's even better is that it gets the Black Metal Dragon into the graveyard for you to activate its effect over and over again. It also has a very useful arrow when it comes to the Dragon Link strategy, and if it wasn't limited, it would see play at more than one copy. Without Link 1s, the one-card Black Metal Dragon combo just doesn't work at all. And you might think that I'm trying to say I want to abolish Link monsters, but no, that's not the case at all. I think Link 1 monsters have the potential to be really solid overall and be very fair in the format. In my opinion, they can allow for creative deck building or have really unique effects, or they can give some underpowered decks a leg up. The problem is those Link 1 monsters that are going to these struggling decks are usually either just too generic that they're being used to get other cards off the field, or they're so incredibly powerful but the deck isn't seeing any additional play because the deck just isn't good enough, even though they have a great card at their disposal. Like for example, Traptrix Sarah. Now this is a really weird example because Traptrix did see a lot of success in the past couple of years ever since the structure deck came out. But the card itself, Traptrix Sarah, while it is phenomenal, can only really be used in a Traptrix deck or if a strategy is using the Traptrix engine. That's how it should be for Link 1 monsters. Support your archetype and make sure that you're locked behind them, but if you're going to make it a generic card in general, at least make it a lot less generic than a singular level 1 monster like Linkuriboh. For example, I love the summoning requirements for Salamangreat Almirage. I hate it sometimes, but I also think it's well designed to make sure it's a very fair and balanced card. All it requires is a normal summon monster with 1,000 or less attack. That's very doable for some decks, and for others they just can't meet that requirement. Or if they can, the type or attribute messes things up, or the fact that it doesn't chain block other effects really makes things difficult. In my opinion, a great Link 1 monster has 3 things going for it. Number 1 is that it's a generic summon that doesn't lock you into an archetype. The second is that it has to have a great effect. It could be adding cards to hand, but it doesn't have to necessarily. And the third thing is that it allows decks to extend past interruption. If a Link 1 monster has all 3 of these things, it's usually going to be a broken card. And if it doesn't have all 3 of these things and it does see a lot of play, it's because the deck itself is that good. For example, Sky Striker. You need a striker monster to link with for all of these monsters, so a card like Shizuku or Kagari don't meet all 3 criteria. But the archetype wasn't good because of the Link monsters. It was good because of the spells that acted as interruption and consistency. The links were just the bonus. The point I'm trying to make is that if a Link 1 monster is incredibly generic, its effect shouldn't be that good. And if its effect is really strong, then it should be locked behind an archetype. Also, I just want to say that I love one-card combos. I think seeing a singular card turn into a massive and diverse endboard full of interruption is really cool, and it's something that sets Yu-Gi-Oh! Apart from other card games. But I can also be objective and say that one-card combos that accomplish so much usually aren't going to be good for the health and longevity of a game. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I genuinely believe that one-card combos that are based around Link 1 monsters, like for example the Fiendsmith combo, are going to be good until they get hit on the ban list. And to clarify, I only think this is a problem with Link 1 monsters. I don't think there's anything wrong with Link 2s being extenders or having powerful effects at all. Do I think some of them need more restrictions? Sure, but I also think there's a pretty big difference between needing one body and 2 bodies. But maybe I'm just rambling, so let me know down in the comments what are your thoughts on Link 1 monsters. I'd love to read them to find out if you agree or disagree with my thoughts. If you liked the video, then do me a favor and leave a like on the video. It lets me know you're enjoying the content here. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and make sure to let me know down in the comments if you have any other suggestions for video ideas as well. Shout out to my channel members for going above and beyond. Your support is greatly appreciated, and thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.